And we are recording this call.
When do you want to officially begin? Should we give it 5 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Maisie, where are you at?
I am in Bend, Oregon.
Sweet.
So about 3 miles east of Portland.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Have you heard of McMinnville?
Yes, I have.
A friend of mine is the chamber director there.
Oh, right on. It's a cute little town. I mean, I don't think it's really that little, but it's a very cute city.
Yep, they're doing some great things. They're actually one of the top 2 in Parade magazine for the best Main Street.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're kind of in wine country, right? Like, do
Yeah,
they
I
have
think so.
wineries?
And
Yeah.
turkeys. They do a lot with turkeys over there for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, go figure.
Wine sounds so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, I made you an organizer so you can record as well.
She just stepped out really quick, Nelson.
Okay, no problem. Oh, hi, Mike.
Hi, Michael. Michael, I've been...
Oh.
Sorry, Michael, I've been following your adventures.
The adventures follow me, it seems like.
It's been fun. And
Yeah,
someone
so
else
far-
had a question?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was just wondering if everyone's audio was on then. So if you can hear me, I guess it is. It's Tracy.
Oh, hi, Tracy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
Hi, Tracy.
Hey. Yeah, I think everybody's been following Michael's crazy adventures.
Right.
Or his photos that he posts.
It makes me want to go on a trip, but I don't know if I want to take teenagers. You're a brave man.
Yeah.
Laura, do you want to go back? Sorry, Deb, do you want to go back? You're on the second slide, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump out to Facebook.
There we go.
I think just do a
Oh,
reminder.
shoot.
Yeah.
I just realized, so there's a visual component to this too. Yeah, I just dialed in from my phone. I'm no
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can listen to it, and we're recording the whole thing, so you can watch the video later if you want to see.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we'll talk
totally
through the
dialed
video.
in.
Laura, I
Yeah.
made you an organizer so you can record as well, because what I find is in the rare event that GoToMeeting crashes on Deb's computer, then we lose all the recording. So.
And Nelson is on his phone as well.
Okay.
Yes, Laura, bug them. We can hear you heavy typing. It's funny how phones sound different, or computers sound different.
Yep, there we go. No more heavy typing.
So Laura, did you see the record button?
I gotta get out of my full screen mode here. And then,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. All right, recording.
Okay, perfect.
Well, we know
And
we're
then-
not meeting the British contingent due to our
Yeah.
time, so.
But they're looking forward to the recording. So everybody wave at the UK, please.
How's it over the pond?
Lou and Louise, and who else do we have over there?
Is, Deborah?
Deborah. Oh my God, how could I forget Deborah? Hi, Deborah.
Unforgettable.
Well, Nelson, let's kick it off.
All right, sounds good. All right, first thing I'm going to do is ask everyone who is not asking a question to just mute themselves during the presentation, just in case they're barking dogs or anything else that goes on in the background. You'll probably hear a truck from me. Uh, all right, so welcome everyone to the Misfit Playbook relaunch. We are, back at it. I think Laura, Deb, and myself have been working a lot on this, but life has a way of getting in the way, so we're really excited to get back to this project. And just before we jump into the details of the project, we just wanted to remind those of, or explain to the people who are just joining us, there were about 10 people who filled out the form at Misfit, that this project really was a collaborative group effort. And Deb, Laura, and myself, our job was really to take everyone's inputs and ideas and distill it down and come up with a format and a book idea that worked with everyone's suggestions. So even though the three of us are the quote-unquote vision team, this is everyone's baby, and we're very excited and honored to be bringing it to life for everyone.
Indeed.
All right,
Yes.
next slide, please. All right, so today's presentation is going to be, we are going to try and answer 3 questions that we got a lot after the presentation in Misfit. And everyone was excited about the book, but they were asking, what is the playbook exactly? Where are you with it? And how can I help? So that's the 3 questions we're going to try and answer today. And if we don't, or if anything isn't clear or is too vague, please ask questions at the end, or drop us an email, or bug us on Facebook, because I think it's very important that we communicate clearly what we're doing. The 3 of us, the vision team, has been working on this a long time, so it's all in our heads, and we know we know all the details, and we're more than happy to share, but sometimes it's hard to get it out. All right, so moving on.
That would be me. Got it.
Yep. What is the Misfit Playbook? The Misfit, the best way to describe the Misfit Playbook, I think, is with a sports analogy. In many sports, like American football, a coach or captain will often create a set of plays in order to help the team respond to certain situations. A play will instruct the team where to be and what the desired outcome is. And this, in my mind, is the concept behind at the heart of the Misfit Playbook. But instead of sports plays, the book contains life plays, which are going to help the reader incorporate the Misfit principles into their life and work. Next slide. What are the Misfit principles? That's sort of the next question. And Deb, Laura, and myself, we spent a couple weeks really trying to distill down what does it mean to be a misfit, and how do we explain that to someone else who may not have been fortunate enough to attend the conference and may want to incorporate some of these ideas into their life. And we came up with these 12 principles, which you can read on the screen and that are part of the PDF that we sent out. And those, whoever joined, could you mute? Thank you.
And welcome.
And welcome, yes. Oh, I guess he left. All right. So these 12 principles are at the core of the book, and each chapter of the book takes on one of the 12 principles. And so the first chapter at the moment is handcrafted, and that contains a definition so that people can understand what exactly we mean when we say handcraft. And then along with the definition is an essay, and these essays are actually in the form of, they're actually called glossons, and I think we can go to the next slide for this. So a glosson is a short essay about why the principles matters, and it's meant to inspire and push people into action. And this is actually a German word that came from my mother, who did the first round of editing on the Misfit Playbook, and she helped us get each of the essays very tight. They're about 250 to 300 words in that ballpark. And if you've looked through the PDF, they make up the bulk of the PDF at the moment. And then the rest. All right. So yep. Next slide. Perfect. The plays make up the remainder of the chapters. And a play, I guess, can best be described as an example of how you have incorporated a misfit principle in your life. And it is written like you are giving advice to a friend. And I'm not going to get into the details of how you write the play today. This call is meant to be more of an overview of the entire process. But one thing we're going to provide as soon as this call is over or in the next few days is a style guide that we've written, and it lays out specifically how to write a play and what's the voice and the format and all those kind of ideas. So all you need to know at the moment is that a play is a small sort of nugget of advice that you would give to a friend that explains how they would use the principle in their life. And if you look at the PDF that we sent out, one example is to create experiences. That's the first play within the chapter Handcrafted. And so the play is called Create Experiences, and then there are 4 bullet points kind of that provide a general outline of how you would create experiences through your life and work. And the idea is that someone could open the book, go to that play, and just kind of steal it and use it for whatever they're doing. So if I'm working on a movie or Deb's writing a book, we could look in here and say, I'm going to incorporate this particular play into the launch strategy of either project that we're working on.
Can I ask a question really quick?
Sure.
Yes.
I noticed that you had mentioned something about voice, and I guess my question is, are you trying to make this book appear to have been written by one person, or are you trying to have it have different perspectives and different voices from the people that are contributing?
So the main idea was that we didn't want the book to be about one individual story, and we also didn't want it to be too disconnected. So we've been kind of editing with the idea that the book has been written by the little misfit character himself. So
okay.
he's writing this journal to all of us. And that's not to say that the essays or the plays don't have each individual writer's personality. It's just we've sort of, we're trying to edit it in a way that it's consistent and it sounds and kind of captures this idea of, the misfit character whispering in your ear and explaining how you could be more misfit, if that's possible.
Okay.
All right, and this is all hopefully written clearly in the style guide. And of course, if anyone has questions after this, please let us know, and we'll be happy to clarify things even further. All right, so the next big question is, where are you with the book? And we've outlined, we being the vision team, have outlined 3 different phases that we're working on. There is the writing phase, the prep work phase, and the printing launch phase. And I'm going to get into a little bit of detail with each of these in a minute, but I just want to stress that today's call is to give you an overview of the process. And it's not that we are trying to, we're not open to sharing the details of this, but we've found that when we try and explain everything at once, that it's too much for one of these calls and people kind of get lost in the details. So if you're interested in any of these parts, which I'll explain in 1 minute, then please reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to explain what we're thinking, what we need, and how you might be able to help. All right, next slide. All right, so phase 1. We've actually made a lot of progress here. We have the definitions and glossons written for each of the 12 principles, and that you can clearly see in the PDF that we sent out ahead of time. And we have some plays written but obviously we want a lot more. And so we're going to get into exactly how we're going to write more plays in a little bit, but this is just to let you know that where we are in the process is that we want the writers, everyone, all of you, to write more plays and submit them to be included in the book. And once we have all the plays, then we're going to do some editing, to make sure that we have that Misfit voice, and maybe we'll rearrange some of the chapters so that they make more sense or things like that. And I think, Deb, you wanted me to stress that we'll be doing, we have the style guides, and you can refer to those, but we'll also, if you have questions during the writing process, feel free to ping any of us, and we'll give our 2 cents. And people found that very helpful when writing the glossons, so that it's not a, go write in your cave and then give us something back. It's a very fluid process, if you would like it to be. All right, next slide. So after that is the prep work, and this is simply, we want the book to have some art with it because we feel that that is, very much what it means to be a misfit. So, it's working on the art, it's developing a website, doing some pre-launch promotion and some fundraising to help pay for things like the website and a proof copy of the print book. And again, we have ideas for all of this stuff. We have sort of a plan, but I'm not going to get into the details of that today. Next slide. Perfect. And then the final phase is the printing phase, and our idea to launch this thing is to obviously do a Kickstarter, because there are a lot of people with experience in Kickstarter, and it's a wonderful platform, and it's a great way to market the book and get it out to a wider audience. And then, with a successful Kickstarter campaign, we would actually print the physical books and then, do a launch party maybe in Fargo next year. So that's kind of the broad overview. We have more detailed information about that if you would like it. So, and now the big question, how you can help. There are 2 main ways that you can help. Obviously, write plays. We are going to outline some deadlines when we want everything to be submitted and written and all that stuff. We're going to provide that to you at a later date, hopefully within the next week or so. But we need people to get writing. So that's the first part. And the second part is to help execute with the plan. So as I've been alluding to, the vision team, we sort of have this master plan, and we need help. So we need people, what we really need is people to step up and own the different parts of the plan. So for example, with the website, we need someone to take on the responsibility of getting the website done. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to physically make the website yourself. It might be coordinating with the people who make the website. It might be reaching out to other people to get quotes and see what's available and that kind of thing. But it's pretty clear at this point that Deborah and myself, we have our plates full with our own sort of life and work and that kind of thing. And our role is at the moment really to provide the strategy and the vision, and we need other people to actually execute on that and help us bring this in, make it a reality. So that's kind of where we are with everything. And if you have any interest in being part of the, helping with anything, please reach out to us. And finally, next steps. So what we're going to provide you with in the next few days is the style guide, and we're going to send you an invite to Podio. We're going to be using Podio to track the editing and compilation process of the book going forward. So your next steps are to review the style guide, explore Podio, get to know it a little better, and then we'll have the dates. We'll tell you when the date for this is, but you're going to be submitting plays. So your ideas for plays that could be included in the book. And what we found is that, I may have a idea for a play, but it turns out that I might not be the best person to write that play, or I think that someone else would be better writing it, but I just have the concept. And so we want to allow people to submit ideas, and then the second part of that is to sign up and write plays. So once we have compiled the list of all the different plays and the chapters they belong to, you will be able to pick which plays you feel passionate about writing and then take them on. And as I said, we'll have more details about that coming soon. And then finally, please reach out to any of us, the three of us, if you would like to help in other ways. If you want to, as we said, we need help executing on the vision. So if that interests you, then reach out to us and we'll share everything that we know. All right, and then next slide. And so I just want to take a moment to reiterate the vision with all of you. And I want you to think about this, that imagine a year from now walking into Misfit Con 2015 and seeing the Misfit Playbook being handed out to all the new attendees and to all the old attendees. And I think that that's what the heart of this project is about. Not all of us are going to publish books in our lifetime. I think that that's fair to say. And I think that this is a great way for all of us to contribute to make something that is special and that can have an impact on Misfits to come. So this right here is the vision, walking into Misfit Con next year with the Misfit Playbook available for everyone to take, the physical book. So that is it. Next slide, please. And then I will open it up for questions. If anyone has questions, you can unmute yourself and jump in. And again, this whole presentation will be made available online so you can watch it again and in case you missed it or are coming in at the very end.
And welcome to Ash. Glad to have you on.
Yeah, sorry I was late. I was on a bus and I just happened to walk in right now. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We recorded it, so you'll be able to, we'll share that, and you'll be able to watch the whole thing.
Okay, perfect.
So are there any questions from those who have been listening?
Tracy, Michael, Maisie?
I guess I'd like to ask that then those of you who haven't heard this before or might be new to it, does it make sense to you, the vision that we're trying to lay out and the concept of the book? Unmute.
So I think that oh, am I on mute?
No,
Can you
not
hear me?
anymore. We can hear you.
Okay. I understand the vision. I guess I'm not entirely clear, I guess, on basically you have an outline of how you want the book to go and you need people to submit words to help it go the way you want it to go. Is that, I mean, that sounds so bitchy to say it like that, so I'm really sorry that it came out sounding that way, but is that sort of my understanding, is that there's already an outline and you basically just want people to kind of pick some of the topics that you've outlined and do some writing on those?
I think what it is the book is kind of mid-process because a lot of the writing was done last year. So the definitions and the essays, we had a whole group of people last year that got together and did writing, and we went through an editing phase and everything. And we're kind of at like the next piece of that, which is writing the plays for each one of those.
Okay.
And some of those plays have been written, but some of them haven't. So we're kind of looking for some new energy and new ideas to come in and write plays for each one of these definitions and essays that have already been written.
Right.
And what are the plays exactly? Like, it's basically like our interpretation of how to incorporate one of those 12 principles into our lives, or how we have done it, how we would do it. Like, what's a play really?
All right, so
Did you get the PDF?
I find this, yeah. So I find this the hardest part to explain of the whole piece, but I'll do my best. And that's so the idea. One of the ideas that we had with the playbook is that it's not. We don't just want to inspire people and say, "Yay, we're a misfit," and that's all good. But we also want to provide people with some actionable advice. And so a play in this context is the actionable advice that you would give someone else about how to incorporate the idea of handcrafting into whatever you do. So my idea of handcrafting as a photographer is to edit, and reduce the number of photos that I share with people. And so I could write a play that's along the lines of, only show your best work, right? And then I want to give people 4 or 5 bullet points about how exactly, like, what's my mentality, how you would incorporate that. And the purpose of the play is so that someone who is maybe struggling or stuck with a project can just jump into the book, read one of the plays, and say, yes, I'm including too many videos or photos, and I need to be more selective. So it's really to give people a starting place to incorporate the principles into their life. Because I think it's really hard to say to someone, you need to handcraft more, because that's such a broad term, and it's very hard to know what exactly does that mean. So play is the actionable component of the book.
Have you received the PDF file of what's been written so far?
I think that I have it in the email, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Okay, that'll really help a lot too.
Michael had a question here.
How many plays per for the 12? I mean, are you going to have like 2 or 3 actionable little play per of the 12 points, or just 1 per point?
Definitely more than 1.
I mean, I'm inclined to say as many as we can come up with. I think it's very open, and we don't know, because we have. I think that's part of the idea behind the submission process. So we have a list of maybe 30 to 40 potential plays that people have submitted already, and so it's maybe 5 or 6 per chapter at this point. I mean, it could be as many as 15. I don't really know. I think that we're still waiting to see how much this group is able to or willing to write, and that's a big question. But I think, it is as many plays as possible, as long as they're sort of diverse. We don't want to be saying the same thing over and over again, but we do want to have different perspectives on each of the principles.
And some principles, I think, are they lend themselves to play making a little bit easier, like something that's a little more handcraft or sit in the chair. I can come up with ideas, but when you get into the deeper things like be authentic or be vulnerable, that's a little more challenging to write a play. So we're looking for some creative ways to write plays about how do you be vulnerable in the world? How can you be more authentic in very actionable ways? What suggestions can we give people to practice those pieces?
And it's from the viewpoint of a little misfit character, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's writing or he's explaining things. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Which is really all of us, we don't want to take away the personality of the writer. That's not it at all. But to just look at this through your misfit eyes.
Mm-hmm. Take on your misfit persona and write from that. That's what we came up with last year when we had a bunch of people trying to all write together. That kind of tied it all together for us.
So I guess we'll do one final call if there are any other questions, suggestions, or ideas, or anything like that, and then we'll end the recording and send this out later.
Wait, so my only question, maybe you already covered it, is so like how is it being divided? Who's gonna write the different plays, or is someone just gonna step up and if they feel confident on one of them, just submit a play for that?
Yeah, we did cover that briefly, but the basic idea is that we're going to have everyone submit their ideas for the play. So we're just going to generate a long list of, plays for handcrafted, plays for vulnerable, plays for be passionate, and then we're going to have people volunteer to write a particular play. Now, for example, I could volunteer to write a play that I submitted, or I could volunteer to write a play that someone else submitted.
And Ash, here's an example. So one of the categories is embrace local. And you're in Kansas City and I'm in a small town in Iowa, and you do yoga and I really don't anymore. So for me, if I were to say, well, I want to know what Ash does to embrace local around his yoga practice. So I might submit the idea to how do you embrace local where you live? And then you could pick that up and say, hey, I can write about good ways to, how to embrace local right where I live. Does that help
Oh,
at
I see.
all?
So it's kind of like nominating a topic, and then someone can like run with that nomination.
Yes.
Yeah, or
That's,
you can nominate a topic and say I want to write it because I've really
Okay.
clear in my head exactly what this play is. So,
and
so we're
remember
Exactly, yes.
there's
and
more than
what
one
we're
play
trying to
per principal too.
yeah, yeah, more than one. I think what it is, we're trying to provide enough structure for people to know what to jump into, but not so much structure that people can't be playful and creative with it.
Hmm.
Hello,
And,
Margaret.
and
Hi. We had a line of thunderstorms, so I didn't have an internet connection. So I'm just sneaking in now.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Margaret. Good to hear your voice.
Hi.
so Margaret is not only my mother, but she was the editor on the first round of the playbook and helped us kind of refine the Misfit voice. And so, if you go to the PDF and you read through it, you'll get maybe a better sense of what we were going for and what the quote-unquote Misfit voice is. So I think that's about it. There doesn't sound like there are that many other questions. And again, some of you are jumping in halfway into this process, and a lot of the ideas and concepts that we've come up with for this book are not really the vision teams, but a combination of everyone who jumped on the first set of calls, and we had some very lengthy discussions about what we wanted to write and what it meant. And the job of the vision team was really to provide a structure around it that worked with all these different writers. So that's why it may, like, some parts may feel very rigid and other parts not as clearly defined, and that's partly to allow this flexibility of having 20 to 30 different people submit ideas and plays and essays to this book, because we want as many different opinions and ideas in there as possible. And obviously, if you just let that go, it can get a little messy. So hopefully this call has clarified some of that, and if it hasn't, please reach out to us and we will be more than happy to sit with you and kind of go over that.
Yes.
I think it's amazing what you've got already. So when you have this many people involved, but I hope you feel good about how far you've come already.
Thank you, Margaret.
It's been a process and it's been a lot of fun too. Compare where we were when we started, I don't know, a year ago, to where we are today. And there's a group of us that were the first year Misfits, and we absolutely want all Misfits to be involved in this. So that's why we stood back just a little bit on this call to explain what we've gone through and what our process has been, so that you can get the feeling and the excitement that we've gotten as we've worked through this whole project.
Very cool.
I am going to stop my recording now.
Yep. Ditto.